कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः। जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः परमव्योमभास्करः।
श्रीमते निगमांत महादेशिकाय नमः। Sri Ramachandra spotted a rajahamsam. After having received the message from Vayuputra Hanuman, he thought he will give ashvasam, some relief, momentary relief to his beloved wife Sita. So he has to tell her, don't worry, Hanuman has conveyed the message to me, I am just coming, take care of yourself. So he has to convey this message through a duta, through a messenger. That is when he spots the rajahamsa. And why rajahamsa instead of a cloud, instead of a pigeon, instead of a crow, instead of a kokila? Because hamsa, that is white in color, indicates sattva gunam, pristine nature. So it will not have a mix of rajo and tamo gunam and will always speak the truth. So he has to praise the rajahamsa and send the bird. The bird asks, how will I go? Take the eastern route, you will be coming across this beautiful hillock which looks like Adisesha, where in the future Paramatma will come as Srinivasa or Venkateshwara Swami or Balaji. So this is a beautiful temple, and very close to it is, Vedanta Deshika mentions a beautiful Shiva temple called Sri Kalahasti. So he says the flowers will get accumulated by the waves of these rivers called Swarna Mukhari, which is called Swarna Mukhi river today. And it seems Lord Shiva would use those flowers to do archana to the Lord of Tirumala Tirupati from Sri Kalahasti. Then he talks about the temples in the Kanchi region. Then he goes further south to describe the temples of the Chola region around the river Kaveri. Goes further south to Madurai and then to Tamraparani river, describing the beautiful temples there. And then he says, when you go reach the tip of Bharata Desham, you will be finding the seas open. Remember, O Hamsa, these seas were created by my predecessors. So in a way, we are indebted to them and the seas are indebted to us. So as you fly, you will be coming across this Suvela Parvatam. Mainakam will come first. Then Suvela Parvatam is the entry Parvatam to Lanka Pradesham. How will the Suvela look? Because the bird, Hamsa, by the time it reaches, Rama calculates, if you start from now in Bellari, by the time you reach Suvela Parvatam, it will be the twilight time, evening time, in the dusk time when the sun is about to set. The yellow and the reddish rays of the sun come and fall on the mountain, and as the moon rises, so there is a setting of the sun and the rising of the moon. At that point in time you will be going. So from the top, how will the Suvela Parvata look? He says, Yasya sanne payasi jaladhe tvat pratichanda chandra pakshacheda ksharita rudhira stoma sandarshaniya vichif praptair vishamita rucho mauktikaistarakabhai Sandhyamanyam niyatamavanau darshayanti pravalaha. What a beautiful description. He says, Rama tells the bird, see, when you're going to see Suvela Parvatam, remember, oh you bird, have you listened to lectures before? The bird said, no. Remember, in the past, many mountains used to have wings. It has been mentioned in the Vedas too. I don't know whether it is logically tenable for us to believe, or there is a different way to approach this concept. But it is said that mountains used to have wings, And Indra got really perturbed. When I am also flying, how can these mountains fly? So Purandhara or Indra chopped the wings of mountains. So all mountains lost their wings. Except, you remember in Sundara Kandam, Mainakam tells Hanuman that I am the only exception mountain whose wings were not cut. And it was your father Vayu who protected me. So as a sign of gratitude, I would love you to come and rest in my mountain. That is when Hanuman said, you are my father's friend, I respect you, I regard you, I pay my namaskarams to you, but I can't stay on your mountain because I have an objective to see Sita. So the only hill which escaped the wrath, the Vajrayudham of Indra, was Mainakam. Now there is another mountain which Rama describes, which is Suvela Parvatam, the entry mountain in Lanka. He says, when the wings of Suvela Parvatam were chopped off by Indra, blood would flow from the mountain. Now you have to imagine in terms of poetry. Now don't ask whether the mountain had O positive blood or A positive blood. It is not about the blood. It is a poetic imagination. If the wings are chopped off, the blood will flow. But how will it look today? Since you are going in the evening time, Vedanta Deshika, which is the poet, and here it is Rama incidentally who tells Hanuman, the Hamsa, that there are many coral reefs around the mountain. Coral reefs. We have heard of Great Barrier Reef in Australia. There are many coral reefs. So those coral reefs below the oceanic waters, some of them will get chopped, it seems, and they'll start floating, and they will start getting accumulated by the side of the Suvela Parvatam. So from the top, if you look, the Suvela Parvatam, its circumference, its boundary will have these red color coral reefs. Why do they look red? It looked as if when the wings of Suvela Parvata were chopped, the blood oozed and became those pravalam. Correct? One. And as the waves lash, you will get those white pearls. So white pearls, Mauktikam, then pravalam, which is red hue. There is a mix of white and red here. And then Vedanta Deshika says, further, when you look to the top, you will find stars and the moon and the sun. Because there is a sunset and a moonrise, and then the stars will also emerge. And when you look to the waters, you will find your own reflection. So your reflection on the waters, red and white of the corals and the pearls, and the reflection of the stars and the sun and the moon to the waters, for a minute, the entire sky's blanket will look as if it has fallen on the waters. So he says, Sandhyam Anyam Niyatamavanau Darshayanti Pravalaha. How beautiful will this sight look? So he is trying to, probably in the current days, when we have to promote the tourism of a certain state. People promote the tourism of Tamil Nadu, people promote the tourism of Kerala, of Karnataka, of Maharashtra, of Assam, of whichever state you belong to, or even countries tourism. Visit Australia, visit Singapore. What they would do is they'll show some glimpses of animals running here and there, some glimpses of flowers blooming, some bees going around the flowers, the elephants running. So they will say that this region has good flora, fauna, waterfalls. So Vedanta Deshika has to promote all of this for the Rajahamsa to fly. So he describes, there is no better PRO for Sri Lanka than Swami Vedanta Deshika. He describes Sri Lanka so beautifully. He says you will see Suvela Parvatam. From Suvela Parvatam, what will you be able to spot? That is where he says, Tasmin drishya tadanubhavata charu saudha avadhata Lanka sindho mahati puline rajahamsi iva lina Tvamayantam pavana taralairya patakapadeshaihi pakshair abhajjur gamishyuhu ivasthaiti shravyanada. There you will see, from Suvela Parvatam, you have entered Lanka. From Suvela Parvatam, you will spot Trikuta Parvatam. How will the Trikutam look? He says the entire Trikuta Parvatam, along with its mansions, will appear white. So you will be able to associate with it because you are as such white hued. For a moment, that entire Trikuta Parvatam with its white mansions will appear like your beloved. Your beloved will also be white in color. Rajahamsa's wife will also be white in color. So if you look from the top, it will look as if your beloved is sitting in an island surrounded by sands and waters. So please be aware, you are not going to some new region, you are going to see your own beloved there. So he said, Pakshaihi abhajjur Gamishyuhu ivasthasyati shravyanada. So make that sound. And there are many birds which may resemble you, which may be of your jati, which will say that sound in return. So Vedanta Deshika says this is how Lanka will look. But what is going to be there in Lanka? That is when he says, Leela khelam lalita gamanas charunadam sashinjaha plaksham tvam smara sharadrisho gaurama Pandurangyaha Mugdhalapam Madhura Vachaso Manasarham Manogyaha Yatra Nita Surayuvatayo Ranjayet Susamaksham. But that Lanka, oh Hamsa, you'll be surprised and shocked to know. There is a lustful king called as Ravana, Dashanana, Pankti Mukha who rules that region. I described that region so beautifully to you, Rajahamsa. But it is ruled by a lustful man. Now, when you walk, when you fly, you will be able to see people of your own character, because this wretched man, the ruler of Lanka, has incarcerated many, imprisoned and let them languish in the jails, many Devamatas. They have all become white, pale, because they have been separated from their husbands. And this man has done human trafficking by doing this. Those women are pale. Gaurangaha, they will all look pale. They will just look like you. They also have a beautiful voice like you. They also walk beautifully like you. So you will find many of your new counterpart friends in Lanka. You're going to that Lanka Pradesham. Then he says, Rama tells Hamsa, but please remember, Ravana may have brought all these Devamatas to abuse them, but he couldn't do anything to them. You know why? There is a curse hanging over his head. If he lustfully molests a woman, he will die that very minute. So because of this curse, he has not been able to abuse those women. Ugraihi, Shapaihi, Upahati Rakshasa Duramuktaha. Dagdhum yogya hutavaham api tvatpriya varnasa shuddhaha utpashyanto janakatanaya tejasaiva swaraksham rodham yasyam anuvidadhate lokapalavarodhaha. But you know what is protecting those Devamatas there? There my beloved Sita is seated. Her tejas is protecting all the women there. Mind you, Rajahamsa, you may have seen the best of places, but what you're going to see is the best of all women. She is Jagannatha whom you're going to see. I will be describing in what state she is and what you have to speak to her and what she will give as a reply to you in return. Beware, wait for the next episode. Rajahamsa says Rama.
Dear Astika reader, I'm happy to be authoring a 2-part book on the Ramayana in English. The first part is slated for release in the year 2024. The book aims to recreate and retell the Ramayana of Valmiki, conforming to the ancient commentaries and other allied literature. To receive notifications of the book release, kindly register with www.deshikadaya.org/books. Namaskaram.